Good morning, church family. It's good to be with you this morning. It's a big month for Serenity Group and Came to Believe Recovery because it's National Recovery Month. And things have been happening all over the state of California to bring awareness of recovery issues and things that happen in the recovery community and to give opportunities for people to find resources. We were in Sacramento on the Capitol front lawn earlier this month. This Saturday we'll be up in Chico at Recovery Happens, which is at East Avenue Church on East Avenue, is a Nazarene church there in Chico, and this Sunday will be Recovery Sunday, and we'll be celebrating the recovery that's happened in our church for the last 32 years. Serenity Group will be 32 years old this month, and we continue the celebration on Wednesday with our annual chili cook-off. The chili cook-off contestants are by invitation only, and they recovery houses and recovery venues throughout our community that want to participate and do a chili. The judges are the judges from the Butte County Behavioral Health and from Drug Court that help us and come and do the judging. And it's a great big clean and sober party, and we really look forward to it. So that's a little announcement time, and now to the refresh. I want to talk about something this morning that has really been exciting to me over the last few years as I've gotten more intimately involved with Came to Believe Recovery. We know that the program was founded by one of the first 40 members of Alcoholics Anonymous. His name was Clarence Snyder. And in the original method of doing the steps, they would do them in an afternoon and then live their lives in steps 10, 11, 12. And I'm going to be talking about that on Sunday a little bit and how that flows with our theology, Wesleyan theology, and God's call to us to live a holy life. But I wanted to talk right now about something that I found really interesting as I started to become involved with Came to Believe Recovery. And this is from Galatians 19 through 26. It's about the deeds of the flesh and the fruit of the Spirit. And listen to this, what it says, starting at verse 19. The acts of the flesh are obvious: sexual immorality, impurity and debauchery, idolatry and witchcraft, hatred, discord, jealousy, fits of rage, selfish ambition, dissensions, faction, and envy, drunkenness, orgies, and the like. I warn you, as I did before, that those who live like this will not inherit the kingdom of God. And then Paul goes on and says, but the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, forbearance, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Against such things there is no law. Those who belong to Christ have crucified the flesh with its passions and desires. Since we live by the Spirit, let us keep in step with the Spirit. Let us not become conceited, provoking, and envying each other. The flesh has been crucified. Something that's been crucified is dead. And do we believe that God can really do that? I know when I walked into recovery, I didn't even know if I could get sober. And then I became part of the Nazarene church and started learning, and they started talking about living a holy life. And I'm like, there's no way I can do that. But yet God tells us that we should be living a holy life. My idea is this, that if he tells us we need to do that, and we can't, then he must have made a way. And that's going to be basically the topic of the sermon Sunday, but I wanted to talk about this a little bit. In our fourth and fifth steps, step 4 says, made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. And step 5 says, admitted to God, to ourselves, and another human being, the exact natures of our wrongs. So the wrong things we do have a nature, our sin nature, that causes us to do the wrong things. But Paul just told us that needs to be crucified. It needs to be dead. How can I do that? We're going to talk about that Sunday. But I would like to look at this list that we use for the 4th step and compare it to what I just read. Now, these are the 4th step bad side. We have a bad side and a good side. We have character assets and character defects. So this would be the side of the character defects, or the nature of our wrongs. And listen to this list and see if you didn't hear it in that Bible verse. Resentment, fear, self-pity, self-justification, self-importance, self-condemnation, dishonesty, impatience, hate, false pride, jealousy, envy, laziness, procrastination, insincerity, negative thinking, immoral thinking, intolerance, or perfectionism. We always beat ourselves up the most for not being perfect, and then we expect others to be perfect. Criticizing and gossip. Oh boy, that's a church favorite. Greed and gluttony and always wanting everything for me and not caring about others. Now let's look at the other side of the list. Forgiveness. This is the asset side. Forgiveness, courage, self-forgetfulness, humility, modesty, self-valuation, honesty, patience, love, unpretentiousness, trust, satisfaction, activity, promptness, straightforwardness, positive thinking, spiritually clean thinking, tolerance, praise for others, and generosity. What a coincidence how close that is to the fruits of the Spirit and the acts of the flesh. What they were trying to do is help us as addicts and alcoholics in the 12 steps identify those things that were harmful to our life, that were harming us and they were harming the people about us. So we write them down, we admit them to another human being, so we confess them, and then step 6 and 7 are about asking God to remove them. Step 6 says we were entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of character. And step 7 says, we humbly asked him to remove our shortcomings. And we like to say at Came to Believe, at the retreats, we like to remind people that step 7 really works. We ask God to remove them, he removes them, but some of them are habits that have been formed in our life for a really long time. And that's why we have the 10th step. Continue to take personal inventory, and when we're wrong, promptly admitted it. That's our way of starting to live a new life, realizing that sometimes those old character defects, those sin natures are going to crop up their ugly head, but we are going to promptly learn to deal with it in God's will, not our own will. It's an amazing new way of life. It really works. It really does. And I look forward to seeing everybody Sunday so I can talk to you a little more about it. God bless you and have a great week.